I don't want to play with you anymore. That was a quote from Toy Story 2.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Awful Takes podcast, episode 65?
66.
66.
Oh my God.
No.
We're on Route 66 to 66. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my God.
Oh, that was good.
God. No.
If you're joining us for the first time, how we structure our episodic shows is we talk about movie news that we find interesting, and then we jump into our review/recommendation. This is the show where me and Wallied, we take movie recommendations, show recommendations, and we just give each other a recommendation, and we watch the movie, and then we talk about it. And we provide our awful takes for all of you to digest and eventually agree with. So, yeah.
Yeah, we force you to agree with it.
My name is Nabahi. I'm one of the hosts.
Hello, I'm Wallied from Sergator Productions. I'm the other co-host.
And we are very excited to be here. There's a little bit of interesting movie news that I know Wallied wanted to talk about. So what are we talking about?
So we got some somewhat good and bad news with this. So I mentioned it a little briefly when we talked about the Paramount Warner Brothers thing, that they are doing kind of G.I. Joe reboot thing where it was going to be Max Landis helming up like for writing. However, there's been some news this week that the Max Landis G.I. Joe thing is pretty much a no-go, which I'm very grateful for because I really don't care for Max Landis's writing. He's also just kind of a really weirdo creep that just made a whole video about Carly Rae Jepsen or something about his obsession with her music. And I'm like, okay, you're all right, just stop. So anyways, so with Max Landis being gone, thank goodness, one of the people that's going to be helming this G.I. Joe project is Danny McBride. Obviously, I love Danny McBride's acting. He's always great in a lot of the movies I see him in. However, when it comes to the kind of writing side, it's been kind of not my favorite because I know he co-wrote the 2018 Halloween movie. Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of it, unfortunately. It was kind of a reboot where it had its moments, but just a lot of it just unfortunately just didn't really work for me, especially on the more comedic side. But I don't know, hearing Danny McBride kind of being attached to it, I think there's maybe a little bit of potential of maybe adding like an action kind of comedy, maybe like over the top campy side that I think could honestly really work for G.I. Joe. It does surprise me that they're still kind of trying to reboot G.I. Joe all these years later. But yeah, once I get a kind of a first look of it, I think I'll have a lot more of a better idea of what to expect. So yeah, Nabahi, where are you cut at with G.I. Joe, Danny McBride?
I'm not the biggest G.I. Joe fan. Okay. I didn't even check out those movies when they came out. I remember when the trailers and stuff were dropping, I was like, these look kind of dumb. And I don't really want to watch them. And then they made quite a few of them. So I was just like, okay, I never really got the interest to check them out.
They're okay. They're not really worth your time, honestly.
And I didn't grow up with the G.I. Joe. It was like animated show or something.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, take it or leave it for me, to be honest. I will say with Danny McBride, yeah, his writing does, in my opinion, need some work. I feel like he hasn't really found his footing yet to really make me want to trust him as a writer. Yeah. And not only that, get excited for his projects and stuff like that. I feel like I'm always just kind of like, oh, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just kind of leave it at that. And Max Landis, I have just never been a fan of his. I really felt like he was a guy who got lucky and he treated
quote unquote. Yeah.
He treated that opportunity as like, oh, I'm a master now. I'm here to tell all of you how to do things and how to write scripts. And he's just so opinionated, and which, I mean, granted, everyone's opinionated, but the way he would air his opinions, I just wasn't a fan of, because he just had this pretentious, but honestly, probably one of the most pretentious people I've ever seen in Hollywood, voice his opinion constantly. And I was just like, all right, dude, you had a good movie, you know,
Chronicle,
and that's cool, but you act like you invented filmmaking.
Yeah. He got it from Ridley Scott.
Yeah. And then all the weird stuff started to come out, and I was like, all right, well,
yeah, it doesn't help your case.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now I don't like you even more. So
yeah.
I don't know. That's just my opinion with it. But yeah, maybe, who knows, with G.I. Joe, it might be one of those cases where I'm not too excited about it. And then I see a trailer and I'm kind of won over, that by all means could happen. I'm not trying to jump the gun yet. I just will say in terms of my own book, I'm not the biggest G.I. Joe guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like you, I don't really have too much experience with it aside from like the movies. I think one of them has like Dwayne Johnson in it.
I remember seeing that trailer.
Yeah. And like I said, they're just kind of like, okay. I think I saw like the last one. It was like Snake Eyes with Henry Golding. Just like a really boring kind of action movie, unfortunately. So hopefully they can maybe get it right this time. But again, it's kind of like similar to like the Smurfs for me, where I'm just like, okay, we got to stop, guys.
We're doing this again.
Yeah, like the time has come to make another one. But yeah, there you go. That's my piece of movie news for this week.
Nice. All right. I think that's really it. Tonight is obviously the Oscars. We're recording the day of the Oscars. So next week we'll be talking about the winners, the show and everything. So if you're looking forward to that news, we'll definitely follow up on all of that next week.
Cool.
All right. No worries. What are you recommending today?
Okay, so I recommended another Pixar film and specifically a Toy Story film. So I decided to go with Toy Story 2 as my pick to give a general idea of what the movie's about. It's basically Woody's about to go to a cowboy camp. However, Andy plays with him a little too hard and he ends up getting ripped with his little arm. And basically, he ends up kind of torn, no pun intended, between him being played with by Andy and kind of him being like a collection relic, basically. And this was one that I think I'll be honest, I think I watched this one the most out of all the Toy Story films. This was the one I came back to the most. This was the one that really connected with me the most. And now even rewatching it, I gotta say, this probably is like the funniest Toy Story film I've seen. There's just obviously I'll get into it, but there's just so many hilarious moments throughout the film. And not only that, but I love a lot of the emotional side of this film, and specifically with my favorite character, Jessie, and what she offers to the film. And I love like her whole kind of back and forth banter with Woody throughout the film. I thought was really, really awesome. And so yeah, I'm really excited to get into it and a lot of my favorite aspects and moments from this film. Nabahi, what's your experience with Toy Story 2?
Man, this is going back a long time. I remember really watching and loving the first Toy Story. Yeah. And then picking up with this one is just so seamless for me.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Anytime I watch the first one, it's almost like
it's a good double feature. I want
to watch the second one.
Yeah.
And I just remember, we would rent it pretty often, watch it at home. Anytime we were hanging out with cousins or something, we would probably end up watching both of these movies. That's just how much we loved them. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think this movie really shows in terms of Pixar sequels just how to do it right. And the funny thing is, I don't think this movie really reinvents anything in any type of way. It kind of has that standard sequel approach of a role reversal, and having your gang at the end of the first one and just taking them and splitting them up, very Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah. That's
so
right.
I honestly and that's just baffling to say. It's like, well, it doesn't really do anything new in terms of like a sequel setup, but the way it goes about it and everything, it just feels so fleshed out. And it really just feels like, again, they have the idea of toys coming to life. What ideas can we do with that? Like I've mentioned, anytime we talk about any of the Toy Story movies, this one in particular, I think does it really well is, toys to some people are, that safe haven, to some people they're the parts of your life that are there, but they're obviously they're not real, Right. Yeah. But for Andy and everything, like these toys provide a comfort. They provide a level of security. They provide a friendship, Mm-hmm. And then the other side of that, what it was, someone who's older and they collect toys, you know, and they keep, it's kind of funny. I buy action figures and have them sealed in boxes.
Oh, nice.
Oh God.
Where's your chicken soup?
But the other side of that, you know, this adult guy who collects toys and keeps them sealed and treats them as like these collectibles,
They're like these holy figures, basically.
Exactly. And he's been in search of this one figure, you know, and I'm like, wow, that's such a on the nose idea. It's like, I'm surprised I never would have thought of that, you know, watching the first one.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious if you showed someone these movies now and you showed them the first one, jumping into this one, like, would their mind naturally go there, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's just so great. Like they take full advantage of that idea. Like, this guy wants money, you know, he stumbled upon this toy, you know, very luckily at a yard sale, you know, and that's so interesting and fascinating. And then the toys who are in storage and everything, they have their own story, you know, and it's separate from Woody and all of them. And yes, their story is very tragic, you know, even back when they had owners and stuff.
They moved on.
Yeah. And it's, you sympathize with these other toys, even the villain too. So yeah, honestly, this movie, like I said, it just takes full advantage of the idea of toys coming to life, you know? Yeah. And contextualizing that in different ways, you know, and I just think that's absolutely amazing. And I love it when sequels flesh out the world, you know.
Exactly.
I like it when, you know, it's just not the same, you know, because they could have done something very similar of like
Sid
someone
2.0
destroying toys, you know, or someone, you know, doing things like that, you know, and I'm really glad that they didn't. This is one sequel that just really surprises you in every way.
Yeah, and like right away, like even the way it begins is different from like the first one. Like, you know, like when it starts, it's like, wait, is 2001 about to start?
It's like this action movie.
I know, yeah. It's like what Lightyear should have been, honestly.
Honestly.
But yeah, right away, like I love that it just sucks you into it. You get so invested quickly. I love Buzz's kind of whole journey. It actually kind of sets up a lot of like stuff later on that I really love, especially with like Zurg.
Yeah.
And I like that, like, it's funny because when I first saw it as a kid, I was like, wait, is Buzz dead? Did they kill him?
Just blows up.
And I like that, like it transitions to like Rex playing the video game. That's and so everything. Cool. And
for me, watching this opening, like I thought Buzz Lightyear was like one of the coolest toys ever.
He really is, though, honestly.
And this opening really reaffirms that. Like it shows him flying and everything, shows him blowing up stuff. He has this anti-gravity belt that makes him float in like a bubble. And it's so cool. And he's fighting Zurg, like flipping over him and everything. It's just like, this is awesome. You know, like when I watch this opening, I'm like, this is really cool. It kind of adds like that, like we mentioned, that layer to Buzz's mythos and everything.
Yeah, you know, it's a cool little lore thing for sure, because they set that up a lot in like the first film, but you never really get to see it aside from maybe like the Pizza Planet sequence. So it was cool to see them expand it a lot more in the second one. It was
really awesome.
And I right away, I think what I love so much with the sequel is I love that they just kind of set everything up right away, and they really just waste no time with like, you know, kind of setting up things, because like you said, like it's a good like companion piece to the first one, where it's like right away it's like, okay, Andy is playing with Woody, you know, and it's like, oh wait, something goes wrong. He accidentally gets ripped. What happens then, you know? Yeah. And I love this little interaction that Woody has with Wheezy. Very underappreciated character. There's this poor little penguin, man. he doesn't have his squeaker and everything, and I love what they kind of do with that. Their back and forth was really funny, and
I like the term they use. They're like, "Oh, he got shelved," you know,
shelved,
and it's like
he's on a shelf.
Yeah, I'm like, that's interesting. Like these toys have, you know, their own way of thinking about stuff. Even just something as simple as like a toy getting put on like a top shelf is like, oh, they're forgotten about.
Yeah. And they're just collecting dust, which I guess is also another like interesting foreshadowing thing they set up with Jesse later on. It's like, oh, that's actually really sad. And I like the moment. Oh man, this whole yard sale sequence is like really funny.
It is.
So Woody is like trying to rescue Wheezy, obviously, and he has like the little like wiener. I think it's a wiener dog, right? Is that what it is? Okay,
it's so funny. He's like act casual, and the dog is just like. I like it how the dog knows the toys are alive. I was like, that's pretty cool.
The dog is in on it. Honestly,
and the dog like walks in like like over the top
reach for the sky.
It's so cool and it's so funny.
Honestly, and I love the moment where like Al's introduction, everything with Al is really, really funny in this movie. And I like that he's like he sees Woody there, he sees the hat, and right away he just has like the most excited reaction as if he's like in a candy store.
Just found gold.
And I like that he's like trying to steal the toy, and like the mom is all, no, this is a family toy. And I love his like facial reactions. They're so funny. And I like that he's like basically like stealing it through like the little cash, like little box and everything.
Shout out to Wayne Knight, the voice actor.
Okay, that is Wayne Knight. Okay.
Obviously, he's Newman in Seinfeld, and he's in Jurassic Park. Yeah, so and you hear his voice instantly. You're like, oh yeah, that's him. Yeah, and it's perfect. It fits the character really well.
Yeah, his voice acting's hilarious. Honestly,
it really is.
And I like that. I guess the thing I like with Al is like not only is he like a toy collector, but he's also the owner of like a toy store too, which is really funny. Really funny. And I like how like they give some like good like info exposition with like the little commercials you see throughout like the movie, at least in the beginning. And you see like, oh, it's the Chicken Man, you know.
I like how when Woody goes to rescue him, I like how the toys are watching him from the room and they're just like commentating on stuff. And he like jumps in the 25-cent box and they're like, oh, you're worth more than that. Come on, Woody.
And that was really funny.
Their commentary and everything while they're watching is just like really funny.
I like that he uses the binoculars too. They're using like the toy binoculars.
It's hilarious.
Or even like the Etch-a-Sketch is like really funny too. I love that a lot.
And I like the whole setup of, obviously he gets taken. Buzz is trying to save him in that moment. And all he's left with is like this chicken feather, you know? And seeing the license plate has like a special number code on it.
Tobarn.
And I really like how Buzz takes all of that and is literally like throughout most of the movie just nonstop. I have to find him.
I have to save him.
I have to save him. Yeah.
Which was a cool, nice little like callback from the first one where it was like, okay, he's been saved, so he's going to try to return the favor. Like that was a really cool like motive, honestly. That was and really it shows you like Buzz's character too. Like, yeah, he's just a very caring friend in general, honestly. Yeah.
Really cool.
I love that. And then honestly, when they get to like the whole sequence of like Buzz and like the rest of the gang like pretty much trying to find him, I love like a lot of their back and forth banter is really funny, honestly, throughout. I love when Ham is like, he accidentally tripped on something, he's all, oh, don't look guys, and he just like drops like all the coins.
Like, wait till I get my cork back in.
Or I love the moment where like they're trying to cross the street, you know, Ham makes like a little goofy one-liner, he's all, how do the toys cross the road so they can get to the chicken on the other side?
I like the back and forth with Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. I feel like they're like my favorite in the movie.
They're like literally a married couple.
Probably because Mrs. Potato Head is played by Estelle Harris. Funny enough, she's in Seinfeld too. She plays George's mom. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
So hearing her voice and everything, I don't know. I just think it's really funny. And I like how she's like,
I didn't know that actually. That's kind of hilarious.
I'm giving you extra shoes and your angry eyes just in case. It's so funny. I like their back and forth. And even earlier on, like he's looking for an earring and he calls her his little sweet potato. I'm like, that's just so funny.
Yeah. A lot of potato puns I noticed throughout this. That was totally went over my head as a kid.
It's really good.
But I like the moment where they're crossing the street. They have, obviously they can't like reveal their, toy cells. So they have these codes on top of it. Yeah. And they're all, okay, stop. And then like all of a sudden you just see this car and they back into those, I don't know what those things are called, but like they can like puncture your tires if you like go the opposite way.
Yeah.
And then you
and they're just stopping in the middle of the road.
Yeah, exactly.
And these cars like just totally
keep wrecking
crashing
into each other.
Yeah.
It's like a demolition derby. And then you have this one like semi truck, and it like
carrying like one of those
like cement roller things.
Tubes, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Cement tubes. We'll call it that. And like Mr. Potato Head, he almost forgets his shoe, and it's like stuck in the gum, and he almost gets like ran over by the cement tube. That was like really hilarious. And then I like when I like the reaction they have after they cross the street, and they're all, okay, that went really well. And you just see like the aftermath of like all the cars and this like wreckage and everything.
It's so funny. I like a lot of the transitions in this movie. Like there's so many just like unique transitions. Like
the American one is like one of my favorites.
Buzz is talking about how Woody saved him and how he's not going to stop until he's back safe. Woody's back safe in Andy's room. And it's so funny. He's just talking, and then this American flag pops up behind him. And I laugh every time I see it. But then that is used to transition to Woody's story because Al fell asleep watching this old war movie, and that's like the ending of the movie is this American flag, and I'm like, that's really cool. That's like really unique.
Yeah.
And then also Al is talking about Woody after the guy fixes him, and he's like, oh my God, he's just like new. And then it cuts to inside Al's toy barn, this poster that says new. And like Buzz jumps in front of it, you know, and I'm like, I don't know. A lot of the transitions in this movie I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's funny little visual humor for sure, honestly. Yeah. And then that whole scene, actually, seeing, as you mentioned, that scene where Woody is getting clean, very like perfect showing, not telling.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like one of those like oddly satisfying things to watch where you're just seeing this toy get cleaned. And did you know that was Gary from Gary's game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instantly, I'm like, oh, that's the guy playing chess.
Yeah. Gary the chess master is also Gary the toy cleaner.
Yeah. And it's funny because when they were flipping through the channels, like Ham's flipping through them, you see the little toy from, it's one of the other shorts. Yeah. Toy. Yeah.
It's like early Pixar shorts. Yeah. That was a really cool Easter egg. I loved that. And then that whole sequence was great. And then right away, like I love like Woody's whole like journey throughout this film. I love like his introduction. Jesse's introduction is just hilarious. Honestly, it's super over the top, super energetic. She's like kind of quite the opposite of like Woody, where Woody's a lot more laid back and reserved. I would say Jesse's more like a ball of energy, honestly. And I love that so much about her character. And I think one thing that like not surprised me, but one thing that really like I picked up on more later on was like Jessie has this kind of like really tragic backstory, even though like she's very charismatic. There's a lot more to her kind of going on like beneath the surface that you don't really realize until like kind of later on in the film. And I love how they kind of tease that throughout.
Yeah, she has a lot of lines I noticed really dismissing and hateful towards Andy. Anytime Woody brings him up, she's just like,
Andy.
Yeah, immediately just is like, oh my God. And it comes off as pretty like, all right, like this girl's just hating on this guy's owner, you know? But then when you find out the story, it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
That's what was going on this whole time.
Yeah, I could see why you'd hold that grudge, you know? And I love the reveal too of like Woody's this like big famous like cowboy star too. You see like cardboard really cutouts. You see like, he's all, oh, look, I'm a yo-yo. Or I love like, you see the snake in his boots. There's like a literal snake in like the boots. They made like a toy out of it. Or you see like, even with like the record player too, like there's a little funny joke where like I think it's either Jesse or Stinky Pete says something and like they do like a record scratch type of thing after, and like they end up like getting off like the record player.
And there's like this feeling of like almost calling back to the first one. Like you see how popular Buzz is and everything. Yeah. And obviously the first one kind of tells you that Woody's the older toy, you know?
Yeah.
But at no point was I thinking like, oh, this was the toy at one point. Woody was, you know, the new thing that everyone wanted. And to some people, he's like this insane collectible. And I'm like, that's really cool. Like, obviously he's a toy that looks older. It's kind of like that doll toy with like the plastic head and everything. But at no point was I thinking like, oh, this toy's like a collectible. But now that I see it, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. You know, like that's really smart of them to add that extra layer to Woody, is like, you know, this is like a family toy that's been in the family, you know?
Like, even the mom like references it earlier on too, you know, which really surprised me.
Really cool. It's like a nice third layer to Woody's character and everything. Yeah.
And then I love just the whole sequence of them going into Al's toy barn. It really does feel like you're in a toy store, honestly. The whole sequence with like all the Buzz Lightyears, there's just a whole section just of Buzz Lightyears.
I like the reveal of it. Like Buzz is walking past the aisles looking for Woody. And you even see from just where his point of view is, like the lighting in this aisle is different. And then to see him like stop and like look back, and he just sees
it's like a wide shot of like all these
buzzes. The whole aisle is just buzzes, you know. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And then he obviously such a genius idea of having this other one on display, this Buzz. That is basically just how he was in the first movie. I'm like, that's really funny and that's really smart, you know?
Yeah. Well, he has a funny line where he's all, was I this deluded?
It's so funny. And I like they get into like this whole fight and everything.
That was really cool.
I like the ending of the fight. I laugh every time Buzz gets thrown into like those things where it's like these pins and basically you put your hand in it.
Yeah.
And it leaves like the imprint.
I used to have one of those as a kid, actually. I forget what they're called, but
and seeing Buzz get thrown into that,
it was really so
funny. But yeah, it's a really smart way to call back to the first one, but then also show the growth Buzz has had. You know,
he's not the same person he was.
He knows what he is now. He's a toy. You know, it's so funny and it's so cool that. Kind of jumping the gun a bit, but he gives that same message back to Woody that Woody told him in the first one of, you're a child's plaything. You are a toy. You know?
Oh God.
You're not this collectible or whatever. You know, I'm like, that
really got
cool.
to be emotional. I was like, damn, that really hit right there.
It's really cool.
But for me, it left me in like a sense of awe, honestly. Yeah. And I like the whole ending where they put him back in like the box and everything. And he's like with one of all the buzzes now. Yeah. And I like actually, you know what, seeing as I mentioned it, I love the moment where they go to like this Barbie aisle and everything. And they have this like tour guide Barbie, and Rex is just there like obsessing over like the Buzz Lightyear game that he's been playing, and he has like all the cheat codes of how to like defeat Zurg.
That's so funny. That was like the perfect way to get this other Buzz to like listen to these guys, you know?
Yeah.
Is just have Rex bring up Zurg and Buzz immediately just buys into it. That's so funny.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah. And then I love the moments where they obviously they go into like this elevator and everything. Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing I love throughout this film is they make the most out of like these really small spaces and they make them into these like really bigger than life like situation type of things like you know, like them climbing this elevator, you know, the Buzz Lightyear 2.0, he thinks that he could use like the gravity belt and everything.
That's so funny.
And you know, and then it's like they all fall and like it's like him just saying to infinity and beyond as the elevator's going up. It's just like, that's just perfect. That's so perfect. Hilarious.
I really like the moment before he jumps. He remembers he has his belt and he's like, I'm going to let go of the wall. And they're like, he's not going to do it. And he's all 1, 2, and then they're all, he would. And then he jumps off. That's like so funny. Yeah, there's a lot of great moments like that. Or even before that, like when they're sneaking into Al's bag, the new Buzz keeps calling him, or he's like, into the poultry man's cargo unit. You know? He just had the way he talks and everything is just like really funny.
And it was a good way to differentiate the character also too, which I really love. Because if they just kind of did the same thing, I don't know if it would have worked as much.
Exactly. And honestly, like part of me is kind of curious. I'm like, I wonder how much money he was being offered for all the Woody stuff, you know?
I would probably guess at least like a few $1 billion.
Because he flies to Japan and I'm like, that's insane. Well, granted, I know it's like back in the day, probably before like online shopping or whatever. Maybe, I don't know.
Honestly, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm like, this guy's going like across the world,
which is hilarious, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's very absurd too, honestly.
Well, I think it's funny because it kind of shows sometimes those opposites of like, very briefly, but just being obsessed with other countries' cultures and stuff, you know? It's like something that's not as big in the US or whatever could be big in like another country.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I see that often with a lot of my favorite artists and everything. So yeah. Honestly, it's funny. Like Woody's a big thing in Japan. You know, like honestly, I would have liked to see like a moment
that would have been pretty cool.
Where they're like, oh yeah, Woody's this big thing in Japan.
Yeah.
But it leaves a lot to the imagination though, which is why I do really love it though, honestly.
And one of the things I haven't touched on is this villain.
There's like kind of like two
shown
villains
at first.
Yeah. It's kind of a twist villain type of thing.
It's this toy named Stinky Pete.
It's Kelsey Grammer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it is. Yeah, that's hilarious.
And he does a great job. And honestly, I think with this movie, this is probably one of my favorite Toy Story villains just because you really get his point across. Like he has a brief line about it of being on the store shelf and you're watching every other toy get sold
except
besides
for him.
You. And not
Which
only
is a
that,
funny thought, honestly.
You're still in the box. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, wow, that actually makes me kind of sympathize with him a bit, you know, of like he doesn't really care about humans, you know? It's like he literally was just passed up at every opportunity.
Yeah.
And to him, it's no different than being in a museum watching people behind glass, you know, for the rest of however long he's going to be there. You know, it's basically what he's been doing anyways, you know? And I'm like, wow, that in a couple lines and stuff and seeing him interact with Woody, you really get across that, you know, he's basically detached from this whole human side of things, you know?
Yeah.
And he just doesn't even care about it anymore.
Which is so interesting.
He can't sympathize with Woody. He can't sympathize with Jesse because he just doesn't see them that way, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of heartbreaking, honestly.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, imagine being the only toy left on the shelf.
Dang, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, his turn and everything is great. Like
you're not expecting it though either. I mean, I know I've seen this movie so many times, but even then I still get kind of shocked. Like, oh yeah, he's the kind of like second villain of this movie.
Exactly.
Or even like the reveal when there's like, he's the one who like turned on the TV at late at night. Cause he was like, Woody was blaming Jesse earlier for it. And it's like, no, it was actually Stinky Pete pretty much.
Because he wants this whole thing to happen. He doesn't want to go back into storage and everything. Like, I'm just like, wow, that's so fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. Or even like, I forgot to mention it earlier, but the whole dream sequence of Woody, where Andy comes back and he's playing with Woody and he's all, I don't want to play with you anymore. And he just like falls into like these cards and he falls into this like trash can. I'm not kidding, guys. Like when I saw this, this literally scared me as a kid.
It is.
I got nightmares watching this. And you just see all these like detached, you see all these like detached like toy arms like bring up like, it's like a horror movie. Yeah. But but I wanted to kind of mention earlier is the just sequence with Jessie and you see her backstory. Man, I almost wanted to cry again seeing this sequence. I don't know what it is, that the song that they play and then just seeing like the kind of hazy nostalgic kind of like flair they put onto this sequence. It's like, it's a really heartbreaking but also like beautiful sequence in this movie.
Even without the song, a lot is conveyed visually to where you just understand everything. Like for instance, you see how close they were, Jesse and this girl. And then not only that, like she has a lot of fond memories and everything, but then eventually she ends up falling off the bed and she's left there, you know? And then all of a sudden you start to see all the cowgirl stuff in the room change, you know? And it just shows over, you know, a couple of imagery and everything that the girl is growing up, you know, she doesn't really play with toys anymore and she's forgotten under the bed.
And she's collecting dust and everything. Yeah. Oh my God. Jeez.
Yeah. Honestly. And then even that with the dust and everything, there's a lot of moments where I'm watching this movie and the animation is just like, I'm like, wow, there's still like an attention to detail here. however early this was, like early 2000s. I'm like
late 90s actually.
They put a lot into it, which was really cool.
Insane, considering it's like CG animation also too. It's like, whoa, holy cow. But yeah, just the way that sequence ends and everything, where it's like she's just left in this like storage box, and now like she's like a grown up basically. It's like, damn, that was really, really sad. It's like you almost see like another side of like the toys of like, okay, this is a toy that, you know, had, you know, a human, and now like they ended up growing up, and it's like now they don't really have much now, you know. Like that was something I just like made, I think, for really incredible drama, and made for like a really incredible emotional aspect for me of this film, and made me really love Jesse's character a lot more too also. And and then kind of after that, I love when like, you know, the rest of the gang like shows up and everything. They're there to kind of like rescue Woody. You know, Woody and Buzz kind of have this like great like conversation about like wanting to go back or not wanting to go back.
Woody was the toy who made him realize that there was nothing greater in the world than being loved by a child, you know? And he says that, and he's like, and I traveled all the way here to rescue that toy, and you're staying, you know? And it's just like, and you're going to do what? Watch kids behind glass and never be loved again, you know? And it's just like this whole great line of Buzz's journey and what he's been on. And not only that, it's like the toys that made you care about everything is now not caring about it anymore. All because of these other toys are telling him, you know, Andy's going to forget about you eventually. He's going to grow older. And even it's kind of funny. Stinky P has the line. He's like, do you really think Andy's going to take you to college? You know,
is he going to take you on his honeymoon?
Yeah. And granted, they're not wrong. Like, that is very true, you know, but
yeah, I mean, that's what happened with Toy Story 3.
Yeah. But I just like this whole moment of, you know, the culmination of Buzz and Woody, you know, having this face to face again. I do feel like it is a little brief that Woody has this whole epiphany and then is like, you know what? No, what am I doing? You know, Andy's my owner. But not only that, he's like, I know Andy will play with everyone, you know, so why don't we all just go, you know?
Yeah.
If we're stuck in this museum for the rest of our lives, you know?
I'm glad he kind of comes to that realization kind of quickly too.
Yeah. And they immediately just start fighting Jesse and everyone. And it's so funny. Yes. And Woody's like, oh, they're my friends. And Andy's toys are like, yeah, we're his friends. And like, no.
Oh, Rex says that. Yeah, Rex.
It's so funny. Or Mr. Potato Head is like, prepare to meet Mr. Angry Eyes. And he puts his shoes on his eyes.
And he just like runs into the wall.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
And then obviously the setup I love so much. Buzz is obviously my favorite toy in this, but Zurg is just so cool. Every time I see him, I'm like, this
Zurg is really so cool.
And he's like he looks like the perfect villain, you know, like his design and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't think they show him in the first one. So the fact that you got to see him in this movie, I thought was really cool. And in the elevator, when it pops up and he's there, I was just like, that's perfect. Like, I love that so much. And I love how it kind of recreates the video game, you know?
Yeah, that was a cool, like, foreshadowing moment. I loved that so much.
And obviously the little nod to Star Wars.
Spoilers for Empire.
Funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And I don't get it. Like, in the Lightyear movie, Zurg isn't his dad, you know?
I know, that would have been perfect.
That would have been perfect.
Oh, well, maybe next time.
Yeah, but I love that line, the little call to Star Wars. And it's funny because a lot of the sound design in the beginning is just like Star Wars, like he lands on the planet and it's like Darth Vader's breathing inside the helmet.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Or he shoots the laser. It sounds like a laser from Star Wars. You know, I love all of that. It's really cool.
Or even like the moment when Zurg leaves Al's toy bar and you see like the perspective of like his, and it's all like red.
The
and you
goggles.
See, the red goggles. That was really awesome.
It's funny. I have a sealed Zurg toy that comes in like that big box and everything. And I'm like, this is just so cool. But I'm like, I'm never going to open it. But I'm like, man, this thing is sick. And honestly, I just love Zurg. I think he's just like a really cool toy.
Yeah, I love his voice too.
Yeah,
his voice is kind of terrifying. That also freaked me out as a kid.
And I like he's just like shooting these like little bouncy balls.
Yeah. They look like tennis balls or something.
Buzz is treating it. The other Buzz is treating it like life or death. It's so funny and it's so entertaining.
And then like Rex like kicks him off the elevator.
Yeah.
And he's all, no.
And Rex is like, I finally defeated Zurg. And it's so funny. Like, and Rex has a great line earlier that I say a lot. When they're leaving Andy's room, he's like, you would think with all my video game experience that I would feel more prepared.
Oh, yeah.
Rex is like such a funny toy.
Yeah.
Even in the beginning when he's playing the game, he's like, my arms are too short. Like, I can't jump and dodge at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's really funny.
And fun little thing. I didn't know this for the longest time. It's Wallace Shawn, actually, who's in The Princess Bride too.
Oh, really?
And he's also the little short guy in The Incredibles, the little business guy.
That's right.
So I was like, that's really awesome that he's in this, and his voice acting is really funny too. And then actually, what I think is funnier with the other Buzz and Zurg is like, right as they're about to leave on the Pizza Planet truck, he's like, oh, I gotta catch up with my dad, and they're playing like catch together.
Yeah. It's so funny.
It's such like a funny way to like close that story out, honestly.
And I like them driving. Like, that's just like so entertaining. Anytime the toys have to do something.
Did you know toys drive cars?
Well, it's like earlier in the movie, like them going up like in elevators, like this big challenge, them crossing the road is like this big challenge. And now here they are, they have to get in this Pizza Planet car and drive it.
Yeah. And that was a funny little callback too to like the first one, obviously with the Pizza Planet truck and everything.
And the little aliens are inside.
Yeah. They're all, wow, thank you for saving our lives.
And I like Mr. Potato Head's lines. He's like, will you just leave me alone? It's so funny.
He has like 3 alien kits now.
Yeah. All because he saves them. They almost fly out the window. Yeah. And it's funny to see like the aliens from the first one. Obviously, in those ones, it's just like a brief appearance.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. They're like a fan favorite. Like, you see so much Toy Story merch, and they're usually like the first thing that you see.
That's really true, actually. Yeah.
And I realize I'm like, they're barely in these movies. Yeah.
I really like their appearance in here. It is brief, but it's really cool.
Yeah, it's so funny.
And I like them driving and everything. They're like working together, shouting out directions.
Yeah. It's kind of like action packed, surprisingly. It's kind of like leaves you with like a bit of like an adrenaline rush, at least for me personally, honestly.
Yeah. And seeing everyone in this, like you mentioned, this finale where they're in the luggage transportation and everything.
That blew my mind as a kid.
Really cool.
I was like, holy cow. I'm like, there's like these conveyor belts of like all these different like suitcases. It's funny because I thought as a kid, I'm like, oh, do they just go to the location? Because it's just so big and everything. It's like this, like these small locations look like super larger than life, which is why I love this movie so much. And I love like the different like bait and switch with like the suitcases, and it's all just like photography equipment. Yeah. And I love how they use that to their advantage when they defeat Sneaky Pete. They're just like flashing him.
Yeah. It's so funny. And I like the whole kind of buildup of Jesse getting taken on the flight. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like this race where they have to go and save her, you know? Yeah. And it's funny. You see like little humorous moments, like a case says like fragile on it, and the guy just throws it.
You just hear like the glass breaking. That sound was perfect.
And literally they have to catch up to this plane and get inside of it. I'm just like, this is crazy, you know, but it's still really cool.
Yeah. It's almost like it's almost like a life or death kind of situation, honestly.
Really though.
And
even then, like seeing like Buzz, he's on Bullseye and they're riding along the plane and everything. I'm like, that's insane.
The clashing of two styles coming together.
It's really cool.
Or even just like the inside of the plane too. Like I remember that also blew my mind as a kid too. I was like, whoa, is that like what planes look like? Is that where all the luggage goes, you know?
Yeah.
And then even just seeing like the little like yellow light and everything, I was like, whoa, this is so cool, you know? And I love the moment where like Woody and Jesse are trying to escape the plane. The plane is like going at like however many miles per hour, you know, and it was like so cool to see like Woody use like his little pull string. Like that was really cool. Like that was cool. A nice little callback and everything.
I like how his hat flies off and Buzz catches it.
That was sick.
And he's like, what's a cowboy without his hat?
Yeah. That was awesome. That was a really awesome moment.
Yeah.
And then you see like, you know, obviously they finally get on like the Bullseye and everything. Yeah. And then you just see like the other plane come by and they're just all they're just
They're
like
like,
mind blown. They're like, all right, let's go home. Yeah. And even like the aftermath of them going home, like you just see like the airport car
in the driveway.
And then you just see like the two people. They're just like, what is this?
It's so funny.
And then I really loved like the ending to this movie. It's really awesome. And then the iteration of You Got a Friend of Me, I think, hot take, I think this is my favorite iteration of it. Yeah. I love the little like wheezy jazz number standard he does for it.
Yeah.
And I love like seeing all like the toys come back and it's all welcome home, Andy. It was like such a sweet, heartwarming moment for me.
Yeah.
And I like Andy's reaction. He's all, oh, I got new toys.
Yeah.
When he sees like Jesse and Bullseye and
ends in such a great way. And at the time, they must have known at least an idea of where they wanted to go. I mean, I'd be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah.
But it ends in a way where Buzz mentions to Woody, like, you know, are you still thinking about him growing up and everything? And Woody's like, basically just like, you know, yeah, but you know, as long as I have everyone here, you know, this pretty much, this is all I need, you know?
Yeah. I love that message a lot though. You know, it's just more just living in the moment. Like obviously, like the future does have a lot to be unknown, but like just honestly, I think for me, it's just like as long as you have like friends and family around you, there's not too much you can really worry about, you know?
And it really calls into context, like the passage of time, because it's like they ended in this way. And even when I saw it as a kid, I'm like, huh. I mean, Andy will eventually grow old and stuff like that. And I was like, granted, I was like, I'll probably never see that, you know, like, I don't think they'll ever make a movie like that.
Yeah.
But seeing them acknowledge it in this movie, and then obviously that's where the third one picks up, is just like, oh, wow.
They really did think about that.
Probably had an idea of when this was going to happen and everything. And it's just crazy to watch this movie and then just to realize the passage of time and everything.
Yeah. Because it's 11 years between the two also.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because I remember when I saw Toy Story 3, I think I was like 6 when I saw it. I remember like that was the first time where I was like, wait, characters can grow up? Like, wait, that was like the first time I think I had like an existential thought in a movie actually. And I was like, oh, okay. Cause you know, like seeing like these first two Toy Stories, like, you know, obviously Andy's the exact same in both, you know, but then when I saw the third one, it was like, oh wow. Like he's in college.
Yeah.
He's like an adult now. That's crazy. Weird. Yeah.
When, the third one came out, my brother and sister were both graduating high school.
Oh,
so it was like this big moment of like, oh, Andy's going to college. I'm going to college.
Oh,
they said it just made it that much more emotional of like,
I could imagine, honestly.
Saw these movies as a kid and here you are watching them.
You're growing up with these movies.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Like, oh God. I was like just getting into high school, I think, when the third one came out, but even then it was still like, whoa, like this is, like you mentioned, like characters grow and everything. Wow.
Honestly, but yeah, I love the ending to this movie though. It's a great little sweet ending. It's nice to see the little Barbies there. They're all like these backup dancers and backup singers.
That's great.
And I love just seeing like the rest of the gang just kind of there, you know, like Woody and Bo Peep. She's not in the movie all that much actually, but I love their little interactions.
One of the things that I wish they would do in more Pixar movies is the after credits little bloopers.
I was just about to mention that. Yeah, it's really funny. It's really great. The only thing though is I know on the Disney Plus version they cut out a specific blooper gag with the Stinky Pete and Barbie, and it's Stinky Pete basically saying he's all I could get you a role in Toy Story 3.
Oh my God.
And it's so funny because I was thinking, well, obviously went over my head as a kid, but when I rewatched it because I have the DVD version of it, I was like, holy cow, how did this slide?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's not on the Disney Plus version, unfortunately. But if you have like the DVD version still, like from like the 2000s or 2010s or so, I think it's still on there. But yeah,
crazy.
They cut it out and everything. But I was like, oh, that was kind of a funny moment. But I guess it didn't age too well, especially with John Lasseter and everything with all the stuff with him. So I guess it's like, okay, I guess I could see that.
That makes sense.
But yeah, the blooper gag thing is really funny. I guess that's just a thing in general I'd like to see more in movies. I've seen it a couple of times. Like I know they did it with like Bottoms and like Freakier Friday. But yeah, it's something I would like to see more often in movies because just seeing it in like an animated version is also just really funny too. Funny. Yeah. It's just also kind of like absurd and surreal to kind of see like just like the voice actors kind of like flipping their lines.
Woody drawing the stuff on Buzz's helmet.
That was hilarious.
So funny. Or on the wings. It's just like every time he does it, like, Woody.
I like the one funny. Where it's like Buzz is still stuck in like the little like box and he's all, excuse me. And you just hear the other Buzzes go, what happened? But it's a great closer for sure.
This whole movie is just, like I mentioned with sequels, is just, this is the right way to do it, you know?
And I'm surprised Pixar hasn't kind of gotten to that length yet, aside from Toy Story 3. And I'd even say maybe Monsters University, honestly. You know, I'm kind of surprised they haven't really done a good job of like expanding their first films. I was hoping with Incredibles they were going to do that, and they just kind of ended up just doing like a role reversal thing. You know?
Outside of a few of them, I feel like the only one I really liked was probably Inside Out 2.
That's true.
Like, all right, this feels on the same level as the first one. I like the first one better, but
I like the second one more. They
expanded the world, you know, kind of like how this movie did. It was just like natural things that you would think about.
And of course, it's like different emotions too, and especially with the anxiety character. I think that's why it resonated with me more with Inside Out 2, because it's like it has like a really good portrayal of like anxiety, and especially of like somebody who's like experiencing that for the first time.
And it's like growing up. It's like naturally that's where my mind would think, and watching the trailer for the first time was like, oh yeah, like wouldn't anxiety be like a separate emotion, or you know, like
envy?
That makes perfect sense. And same thing with this one, was just like, oh, people who collect toys, people who
used to have an owner and now they don't have an owner anymore.
Things like that. It's just like natural things that I would think about of like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
For sure. Honestly. But man, this is such an incredible sequel. It's a great way to expand the first, like you said, like everything you just said, it's a great way to expand the first film while also just having a lot more funnier jokes than the first. There's also just a lot more of like a sense of like action adventure there. There's a lot of like surprisingly great action packed moments and a lot of great set pieces too. Like that's really still like, even now, still blow my mind even now, like almost 20 years later, you know, it's just insane to me. I'm like, how do you pull a lot of this stuff off? But honestly, I think I'm at a 10. I think I'm at a 10 out of 10. I really don't have any complaints with it that I could really think of. I can't think of anything that I would want to fix or maybe expand upon more. And if there is things that they expand upon, they already do it in the third movie anyways. But it's just such a fantastic ride, and it's just such a perfect sequel. Honestly,
it really is.
This really is like how to do a sequel. It's really just, for me, like all killer, no filler, and it's still just so entertaining. I still get so much out of it watching it even now that I'm older, and I think I have more enjoyment of it now that I'm older, and it still just hits so hard for me emotionally and personally.
Same. Honestly, everything you said is just a perfect sequel. Brings everything to the table, makes you care about characters even more, gives you background on characters that you didn't really think of in the first one. Everything is just,
and I think really it makes you love those characters even more too, honestly.
But perfect 10 out of 10, honestly.
And it's so crazy. I think this was like their second or third movie. Actually, no, this was their third movie
after
they
Bug's
made.
Life.
After that's
the little nod to Bug's Life.
There's little Bug's Life toys on the shelf.
Or in the credits, they're like, oh, it shows Heimlich and Flake. They're on the branch.
Right.
And they're like, oh, we're in a sequel. And he's like, I didn't mention the sequel we were in. And Buzz just hits the branch out of the way.
I forgot about that. That's hilarious. All right, what's next? What do you have for us?
All right, so I've told Wallied about this over the last month. This is something that I need to do. This is the therapeutic for me.
I better get my glasses on then for this one.
It's been 10 years.
Where's my clipboard?
10 years of one of the most important movies in my lifetime. And I'm not exaggerating. This probably is one of the most important movies in my lifetime.
Okay.
But in that, This is one of the most disappointing movies in my lifetime, if not the most disappointing movie in my lifetime.
Oh, God.
We're talking about Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Oh, Lordy.
It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years.
God.
The hype I had for this movie was just through the roof. It's the first time in movie history that Batman and Superman would share a screen. And we had been watching Marvel and all their success years before that. And finally DC was bringing everything to the table. And I was like, okay, this is it. I have to see this movie, you know, and then just the utter disappointment of watching this for the first time and just thinking in my head, like, this is what you guys came up with. You had all this time. You had all this build up, and this is what you came up with. You had that's what I'm saying. How this is going to be therapeutic for me. It's like, I can finally put it to words how I feel about this whole thing. Cause I remember just at the time just being so angry about it, and no one else, everyone was like, yeah, it was all right. You know, like it wasn't great. And I was like, but you don't understand. You don't understand the missed opportunity that just happened on screen.
Oh,
and
man.
yeah, I really need to get into this. So I apologize in advance. The next episode might be a little long.
No worries.
But yeah, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice came out in 2016. They screwed themselves over because for the next 10 years, DC couldn't gain any traction, and it just everything just kept collapsing, every opportunity. And, you know, I'll probably get into how the studio heads were just changing their opinions at every moment. And yeah, it just turned into this big mess. And hopefully DC learned from it now. Hopefully they did. They learned their lesson, because man, this was just such an utter failure. 2016 was a rough year for me in general, because it was like a perfect 1-2 punch with this movie, and then Suicide Squad right after. It's literally like I got hit in the gut and I'm still on the ground trying to get back up, and then I get punched again and I fall to the ground defeated.
God.
Yeah. But yeah, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Jeez Louise. I haven't seen this movie actually since it came out in theaters. I remember.
Just to not give the people any ammunition, I say we watch the extended version. So that way, when we're critiquing this movie, because I know there's a lot of plot holes in the theatrical version. Okay. The extended version adds more context, but it doesn't fix it.
Okay. I was going to ask, is there a specific version I should watch of this?
Yeah, let's watch the Ultimate Edition, which is, it's like 15 minutes extra or whatever of just plot lines and stuff.
Okay. All right, great.
I apologize, Wallied.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I haven't seen this movie in 10 years. I think I had like the most excitement.
Yep.
And then I walked out of the theater. I'll get into it obviously when we talk about it, but I think I was like pretending to be like, no, it wasn't that bad. Yeah. I was like 12 years old. I was like, oh, it can't be that bad. And that was like, I think the first time I felt like disappointment with the movie. And as the years have gone on, it's just aged worse and worse in my mind. And so now to rewatch it, I can't wait to see how I feel with this now. Especially with Zack Snyder too, man. God, I can't with this guy's style. And I already know now that I've seen more of his movies. Like I think the last one I saw was like Rebel Moon Part 1. No. And I stopped there because I was like, I'm done. I don't want to watch any more of this guy's movies. So yeah, I can't wait to see all his stylings for Batman versus Superman. But yeah. Wow, this is insane. I can't believe it's been 10 years. Holy cow.
So if you don't want to be spoiled for the next one, check it out before the next episode. If you want to. Yeah,
if you want to. It's up to you guys. I'm sure all the Snyder fans will be very happy. We're talking about talking about this movie. You know, it's so funny. Even now, I still hear people saying restore the Snyderverse, especially with James Gunn coming in. I'm like,
still hear it.
How guys? So,
all right. Yeah, that is it for us.
All right. Good day and good night, mates.
We'll see you on the next one.
To quote Lex Luthor, the red capes are coming.
Oh, no.